That's the
IELTS
end of
speaking
speaking
test.
test.
Part 1. Introduction and Interview. Question 1. Do you enjoy working in silence, or do you prefer some background noise? Why?
I generally prefer light background noise rather than complete silence. Absolute quiet actually makes me overly aware of my surroundings, which can be distracting. Soft music or ambient sounds help me stay focused because they create a kind of mental bubble, especially when I'm doing creative or analytical work.
Is there a household item you think is poorly designed?
Yes, I'd say television remote controls are often poorly designed. They're usually cluttered with dozens of buttons that most people never use, which makes simple tasks unnecessarily complicated. A more minimal design would be far more user-friendly.
How often do you change your routines, such as your route to work or study?
I don't change my routines very often, but I do it intentionally from time to time. Sticking to the same routine is efficient, but occasionally changing it helps me stay mentally alert and avoid feeling stuck in autopilot.
What kind of weather makes you feel most productive?
Cool, overcast weather tends to make me most productive. When it's too sunny, I feel tempted to go outside rather than concentrate. Mild temperatures and grey skies create a calm atmosphere that helps me focus for longer periods.
Do you think people today repair things less than they used to?
Definitely. Many people today see products as disposable. Because repairs can be expensive or inconvenient, it often feels easier to replace items rather than fix them, which wasn't the case for earlier generations.
IELTS speaking test. Part 2. Long turn. Describe a situation where you changed your opinion about something important.
One situation where I changed my opinion significantly was about working remotely. Initially, I believed remote work reduced productivity and weakened teamwork. I assumed that physical presence was essential for collaboration and accountability. However, during a period when I had no choice but to work remotely, I experienced the opposite. I found that I was more focused, managed my time better, and communicated more clearly through structured online tools. I also noticed that meetings became shorter and more purposeful. This change of opinion was important to me because it challenged a deeply held belief. It made me realize that productivity depends more on systems and mindset than on physical location. Since then, I've become more open-minded and flexible in how I approach work and collaboration.
IELTS speaking test. Part 3. Discussion. Question 1. Why do some people find it difficult to change their opinions, even when presented with strong evidence?
One reason is emotional attachment. People often connect their opinions to their identity or personal experiences, so changing them can feel like admitting failure. In addition, confirmation bias plays a role, as people tend to seek information that supports what they already believe.
Question 2. Do you think changing one's mind is seen as a weakness or a strength in society?
Traditionally, it's often seen as a weakness, especially in leadership or politics. However, I think this perception is slowly changing. More people now recognize that the ability to reconsider and adapt is actually a sign of intelligence and maturity.
Question 3. How does social media influence the way people form or change opinions?
Social media tends to amplify extreme viewpoints. Algorithms often expose users to opinions similar to their own, which can reinforce existing beliefs rather than challenge them. That said, it can also expose people to new perspectives if they engage with it critically.
Question 4. Should schools focus more on teaching critical thinking rather than memorization? Why?
Yes, absolutely. Memorization has its place, but critical thinking equips students with lifelong skills. In a world where information is easily accessible, the ability to evaluate, question, and apply knowledge is far more valuable than simply recalling facts.
5. In the future, do you think people will rely more on experts or on public opinion when making decisions?
I think there will be tension between the two. While experts will remain essential in complex fields like science and medicine, public opinion, shaped by media and social platforms, will continue to influence decisions. Ideally, future societies will learn to balance expert knowledge with public engagement.